So guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Now, if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe down below, join the student family, and today I'm going to be telling you how to ace your A-levels for 2018, because right here, this is my end of school report. My principal wrote, Dylan needs to increase his efforts to achieve his objectives. Now, obviously he wrote this in pen to make it seem like he actually knows who I am, but obviously he doesn't. Let's move on to my actual end of year 12 report, just so you guys know I can do quite well when I try in the exams. So basically right here, my final current grades at the end of year 12, biology E, economics B, government and politics D, maths D, and it says right here that last year this final current grade was remarkably accurate in estimating the final results. So according to this, I would have got B, D, D. Look, read it. And that is my first piece of advice. I got an E in biology. I literally guessed the whole thing. But make sure you drop the subject you're worst at in year 12. If you're getting a B in one subject and a D in another subject, you've got to drop the one with a D in, because, like, come on. If you like it, you would have tried harder, but you still flopped, which means, you know, you're not going to do well at the end of year 13. So just drop the subject you're worst at, unless it's a very tight, slim margin. You guys know I only let companies sponsor my video when I believe in the product. Now today we actually do have one, Amino. Amino apps, they create apps, they're essentially the ultimate back to school app. Now what they do, they keep you up to date with all the different trends, how to do well in your exams, how to do well at school, improve your handwriting, literally everything. And it's one of the things when you open it, there's so many different sections, but if you explore the Aminos, it comes up with like a back to school playlist. You click on the back to school playlist and there's loads of different stuff there, as you see, school style, dorm dressing room, DIY supplies. There's literally so much to choose from. You know what, one of my favourite things is school style for sure, because they actually do include all the like trendy stuff to wear at the moment, and you can also have polls and chat to other people on the app. And right here is the school Amino. You can download a separate app, but if we enter the Amino right here, it's such a cool Amino. The school supplies hall, you've got everything, like everything you could ever imagine to do with school, it's right there. You can even take part in polls, as you can see right here, in quizzes, and there's public chat rooms, everything like that. And click the link down in the description below to make sure Amino knows I sent you. And let's get back into this video.
A few moments later.
So first up, I thought I'd give you some advice from my friends on how to do well in your A-levels. Right here we've got some uncommon advice, because this guy got all A stars at GCSE and he got 2 A stars and 2 A's at A-level. And basically he says a key way to do well in your A-levels is by practicing to stay concentrated for at least 30 minutes, because it allows time for your brain to make connections easier and it will help them form earlier in the future. You can do this by focusing in class for a whole lesson, or turning off your phone and revising. And also reading before bed helps, because you're focusing on one task, and focusing on one task allows your brain to make connections easier. I have said that before actually, but the key thing is definitely making sure you revise for 30 minutes undistracted at a time if you want to ace your A-levels. Now I think he actually goes into detail here and explains like why it's good, so read that for sure, and that is quite uncommon. Normally people just say revise more, but here he's saying why. Next up we have the Zanti 2018 group chat, probably the most reliable source if you want to know how to do well in your A-levels. Don't pick a science unless you have sick memory. That is so true. If you don't have a good memory, then there's no way you're going to do well in biology or chemistry, literally. Don't do sciences overall. Yet very true there from Alex, just don't do sciences. Also, past papers are so much more important than copying out a textbook. That is so true. Do what you enjoy. And then Danny Barn, also all A stars at GCSE. Don't do physics unless you do maths. Very true indeed. And don't do maths unless you get an A star at GCSE. And also choose your subjects in accordance to your uni degree if you can, if you thought that far ahead. If you haven't though, don't worry, I definitely did not do that at all. So back to my tips. I want to say don't go to McDonald's in your free periods. Go at lunchtime. If you're going in your free periods, you're not going to do well in year 13. You need to spend that time working, especially January onwards in year 13. Otherwise you won't do well, like literally. Next up, I want to say don't watch top 10 ocean mysteries or top 10 funniest adverts of all times on YouTube. YouTube is good when you're looking at work. If you're listening to music on YouTube, you suddenly get distracted looking at random videos like ocean mysteries that you really like, don't care about, but they just like get you in somehow. I don't know, you waste so much time looking at videos that are just completely irrelevant to life. Right, so next up I want to say layer your revision. What I mean by this is make sure that when you revise, if you've got 4 topics to revise, spend 10 days on each topic and do that twice to make sure you memorize everything properly, because repetition helps you memorize stuff. And if you're really good at one topic, maybe spend a bit less time on that and focus it on the topic you're not so good at, and mix up the order in which you learn the topics. But it is key, if you're going to do it like that, to make sure you do it at least twice for the repetition purposes. And it actually does really help you memorize stuff. And maybe if you've got 4 topics, maybe only 5 days, or how long it takes you to do it. But overall, obviously, if you're going to do that 4 topics, 10 days times 2, you need to start doing it about 3 months before your exam, which is obviously just after January, which is perfectly fine. A lot of the times before the exam, if you haven't actually memorized any of the key facts or information, instead of trying to memorize it, just do exam questions and memorize the mark scheme for the exam questions, so that in the exam you know roughly what to write. If you get a question about it, you can just blag it. I mean, for politics, that's what I did. I literally wrote down all the exam questions. I memorized everything for AS from the mark schemes, etc, etc. Well, not everything, you know what I mean. I had a rough idea of what they wanted me to write, a rough idea of a few points I could write if a similar question came up. And then when it came to it, although I didn't memorize all the facts previously from the textbook, because I'd done the exam questions and memorized stuff from the mark scheme, I was able to blag it, literally blag it, and then make up a few quotes because no one knows. And literally I was able to get a B in politics, AS and A2. Now next up, I want to say, if you're doing a subject like politics, economics, a few of them sort of subjects, make sure you know a few people you can quote in the exam. Just know the people, not the quote. So what I mean by this is, if you know the quote but don't know the person, you're not going to get any marks. If you know a person and you know a rough quote from them, you can make it up in the exam, you're going to get some marks. I mean, every politics exam I had, I made up quotes literally on the spot from people, but I knew the people and I knew the rough context of it, and I made sure I spelt their name right. So if you haven't memorized any quotes, make sure you make them up, make sure you make up examples and try and blag it, but have a rough idea of what the example could be, or a rough idea of what the quote's about or could be, and then you'll actually be able to blag it. So blagging is a very key factor for stuff where you have to write a lot in an essay. And obviously there's a few more tips like revise hard, work hard, make sure you go to the library, make sure you go to all the revision sessions, make sure you do loads of past papers. But I mean, that's been covered a lot before. I just thought I'd give you them tips where maybe they're a bit different, they're a bit more out there, and we're back to a vlog very soon, and then we've got a university hall. That's all getting a bit crazy. And make sure you subscribe down below to join the student family. We're the #1 family on YouTube. And yeah guys, I'll catch you again soon for another video. So many hand gestures this video, wow. And I'll see you guys again soon.